Okay, so you signed a deal with Columbia. You put out Kickin'. It was supposed to be from an album called Fear and Loathing in Small Time USA. But that album was never released and you ended up getting dropped from the label.
Yeah, we got as soon as nearly month, like within months, Rick Rubin became the president of Columbia and cleaned house. Like he just got rid of everybody, you know. And I never met Rick Rubin. Um, you know, I was told that he didn't like my music or he didn't like what I was doing. But honestly, I don't know if I've really believed that. I think that the crew that got me in the door wasn't gonna let me go or release me to Columbia because they brought me there. You know what I mean? And that's just a theory. I don't know. I actually don't know the real truth about that situation. All I know is I was back at Gadsden broke, and and that's after getting signed, being on the front of the fucking paper of Gadsden Times, which was a huge deal to me because it was a big stunt. You know, I was like, I made it. Just kidding. Nope. Back to the gutter. So I had to figure it out again, man. Go fucking try to figure it out. So yeah, I went out to somehow I forget in the string of networking and all that shit. I had made the cover of Ozone magazine. Like I was in like the center of the O. Not they would split the cover with two artists. The bigger artist had the actual cover and then they would feature a little artist in the O, and I had that. And I made it down. We did this I think it was the Ballad of Slick Ricky Bobby mixtape that I don't know that I did in Atlanta. But anyway, I was like nominated for an award, and that's where I met DJ Ideal. And we did Stereo, which was a hip hop tribute to classic rock. And again, these are just like pieces that started to add into what would become, you know, the Interscope Shady artists, you know what I mean? Like, but there's a lot of creative moving parts and a lot of exercises that had to happen to put it all together. It was you know, it's like getting your master's degree.
Well, by 2009, you end up signing to Ghetto Vision Entertainment, which was an imprint of LaFace. And Ghetto Vision had like T.I.'s first album, Young Blood's, the Big Boi solo album. So now you're kind of in the mix with some of the trendsetters in hip hop.
Yeah, well, J Dot and I knew that Kawan Prather was gonna get it. And thankfully we also had Courtney Seals, C-Bear, co-managing with J Dot. We just had a really strong team and you know, KP really believed in it, you know, on the hip hop side of it, you know. He didn't too much, I don't think he too much dug the rock and roll aspect of it. He was just more interested in the 808, like hip hop, like Southern hip hop shit. But, you know, I did that really well. And, you know, I was good on stage. I was good around other artists, good around other stars. And, you know, it was just all coming together. And so it was just trial and error after that, man, like figuring out the sound. And yeah, so I locked in with Malay shortly after. And we started working on Arena Rap. That's a crazy story because Arena Rap, I think 5 of the records that were cut in '07, '08 ended up being on Love Story, my sophomore album. And we didn't even recut it. We just mixed it. And then everybody's like, oh, it's a game changer. It's like, dude, we were way ahead of the curve, you know, like, but we knew that. We just weren't, the world wasn't though. People, they couldn't digest it. It was too much. Too much rock, too much country, too much hip hop. you know, all done really, really well. And like, it was just like, what the fuck is this? This is not, I mean, that's why LA passed on it, you know? And we were doing, we made like the creative loafing best live act of the year, you know, with that crew, you know, sold out show. I had like 2,000 people, like Fantasia on stage twerking. And like, you know, I had hair down to my waist and boots and, you know, black fiddle player, fucking white boy with a mohawk playing banjo, fucking Malay was over there on like lap steel and bass. And like, it was just such, it was like a culture bomb. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, we just brought it all together. But, you know, LA passed on it. And I heard Lil Wayne was there and Khaled was there at that show, but it didn't like, couldn't pull the deal out of it with that music.
Well, I mean, you dropped Arena Rap and you're signed to Ghetto Vision, like I said, and you started actually getting different placements. You were kind of like the go-to rock hook guy during this time. You know, you're doing stuff for Slim Thug, Juelz Santana, Big Boi. So you were getting your kind of major placements, but not as a solo artist yet.
Dude, when I did that record for Slim Thug, it was the Flock of Seagulls cover with Jim Johnson. Jim was just like, man, you got to come out to Texas for these award shows. Jim's always been a huge fan and a supporter, and he's just always tried to keep me in the mix, you know, and I didn't have any money at the time. So he flew me out to Texas. Some shit started going down at the award show, some street shit. He's like, fuck it, let's get out of here and go to the studio. I'm supposed to be working with Slim Thug. Slim Thug wasn't there, but I cut that I Run hook for the Flock of Seagulls cover for Slim Thug. It became a hit for him. And I was so broke and so off the scene, I couldn't afford to make it to the video. And so Jim Johnson is like lip singing my part in that video. And but word got around when I was in Atlanta that was me. And so Juelz Santana through KP had hit me up to do Subterranean Blues by Bob Dylan, Mixing Up the Medicine. And that became a big record for him. And so then after that, Big Boi hit me up for a rock hook. And that's when I just kind of like stood on my square, like, I'm not going to be that guy. Like, yeah, I'm not going to turn into this guy. I like basically begged Big Boi. I was like, dude, please just let me rap on this record. And he's like, nah, shawty, 3000 made this beat. And I was like, come on, man, just give me a chance. So I ended up talking him into it. And I sent back like 38 bars, like just a whole fucking onslaught of lyrics. And that ended up being Your DJ Ain't No DJ. And that really changed the perception, you know what I mean, of me as an MC. And like, I'm so thankful for Big Boi for that. You know, he did not have to do that, but he gave me a chance, and it was a big deal, man. He put me out there. Big Boi was my first like actual real MC cosign, and publicly, you know. So it struck, you know. I did what came before that though? It wasn't nah, we didn't even do Trump music yet, did we?
That came later. I was about to mention that. So Trunk Music came in 2010, and that's when things started to kind of move for you, I feel.
Yeah.